What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Corey J from Corey J's Boutique, and today we are going to be doing a luxury sew-in install featuring DH Hair Boutique. I absolutely love this hair. Though I sell my own hair, this is one hair that I would always approve. And so without further ado, I want to go ahead and show you all how I sewed this hair into my client's head for a very seamless, natural, and upscale look. So as usual, before I go in and I start working in her hair, I'm going to blow dry her hair out. And then I'm also going to give it a little trim, as trims and steams are included in all of my sew-ins to give it that extra luxury added feel. So once her hair has been completely blown out and trimmed, I'm going to go ahead and start the braid pattern. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to part out her leave out, and in particular this client was a little lacking in the edge area. So in order for me to make sure that her edges were not falling out when she was taking her hair out, I made sure that I kept anything that wasn't exactly strong enough to be braided up. I left it out as leave out. So I did want her hair to look super natural. So we have like leave out in the front on the, well, I think it's my left, your right, whatever. But yeah, we have leave out in the front on one side, and then we have leave out in the front on the other side as well. And again, this is to ensure two things. One, that her sew-in looks as natural as possible, and two, that we preserve those edge areas where the hair may be a little lacking and may not be as strong enough to withstand a sew-in that could be up from 4 to 6 weeks. So now that her hair is braided down, I'm just going to make sure that I am sewing the back braids all together so that she can have a flat foundation. And then I'm going to use a net to sew onto her head. Now, I honestly recommend a net, and a soft net at that one. Like number one for me, if you can take nothing else from this video, take away that you need to have some type of protection between your client's scalp and the weft. And I say that just because it's going to help with tension, and it's going to help with like itchiness as well. So I make sure that I put oil in my client's hair. Always put oil on it. And then I'm taking my lovely DH Hair Boutique Luxury Extensions, and I'm gonna start sewing on top of that cap, okay? So real quick, here's the braid pattern. It's very simple, very flat. We don't want too much. We just want enough that, you know, we have some places to sew. Her hair is flat, and it's also braided in a manner that does not pull out her hair, because again, this is particularly a luxury sewing on a client who is lacking in the edge area, and how we want to do that. So I want you guys to see in the front area here, that first braid, how I didn't take it all the way back, and instead I connected the second one all the way back. That is like 100% to save the edges, okay? So now real quick, I'm just comparing and showing y'all DH Hair Boutique versus Corey J's Boutique. I know y'all see the wefts are thin. I know y'all see the hair quality looks pretty much the same. So clock that T. You know, make sure you're shopping Corey J's Boutique. DH Hair Boutique is beautiful, but you know, it's not really affordable for everybody. So, you know, and they're not paying me, so I can say what I want. And it's wonderful hair. It really is. And again, my hair is very similar to it. So if it's something that you love about DH Hair Boutique, but you know, maybe the price is too much, come on over to Corey J's Boutique and we will get you right. Okay, so now I'm just gonna start sewing my client's hair. First thing I'm gonna do is sew from the left side where the least amount of her hair is gonna be. The reason why I'm doing that is because, again, my client's hair is thinner. So I don't want to have, and I flip my tracks. I try not to cut my tracks. So my goal is so that I don't have a bunch of bulk and weight on that left side where, you know, there's less hair supposed to be there. So we're going to start the track there so that the first time that I have to fold the track over, it'll be on the side of her hair that has more strength and is intended to be more voluminous. Let's say that. So that's how we're going to do that. Now, as you guys can see, I did start sewing with a double track. And once we got to the top of her ear, I actually let that track go. And now I'm sewing singular all the way up the front of her head, so that when I do flip this track back, it has no bulk in it. That's the one thing about a sewing, like it has to be flat. For me anyway, my sewings have to be flat. So I drop the track halfway through, about the point of the ear, so that I can finish sewing, and I'm going to sew it all the way across her head. That right there is going to give her the fullness that she's looking for this particular style. So folding it back and then coming around, and then when I do get to the point where I can pick up that track that I dropped, I'm going to pick it back up and continue sewing that track as a doubled weft. So hopefully that makes sense to you all. If it doesn't, please put it below in the comments. I do have some more thorough videos coming, more detailed, but I just want to show you all the steps of how you can get your sew-ins to look high-end, luxurious, and you know, how you can get those who are paying $500 for hair to come sit in your chair and trust that you will install it properly. And also for you all to know how to sew your hair without cutting the tracks. I mean, essentially, you know, the point is so that you can reuse the hair over and over and over. So for me particularly, Corey J's Boutique hair lasts for years with proper maintenance. Now, what makes some not just last, but also not shed is the fact that I don't go cutting up the tracks. So I try to do this no matter what hair I'm using, just for longevity for my clients so that they can, you know, be happy for that 6 weeks with their hairstyle. Another tip I want to give that I learned a few years ago, I'm talking about a few years ago, just a few months ago, is to just sew around the weft. Like, I honestly thought it was impossible at first. I know that this is sped up, but y'all, like, literally I move like the speed of lightning now when it comes to bundles. It probably takes me, my goal is for it to take me to 8 minutes per bundle. Right now it's taking me about 10 to 11 minutes per bundle. But sewing around the weft not only allows you to do it faster, but it makes your sewing much flatter, much more secure. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're sewing around those wefts. Okay, sew around the wefts, drop the tracks when you need to so that you don't create bulk. Never cut the track unless you absolutely have to. And now I'm just laying her last track, making sure that it's flat. That one I did cut because at this point we have to make sure it's more important for it to be flat than for us to not cut the track at that point, you know. So don't cut the tracks all the way through, but when you get to that very top portion, definitely cut the tracks. Another tip I'll say is I do like to focus more of my tracks in the back of the head and around the sides, and then in the middle and at the top, especially when you're trying to achieve a luxury install on someone with thinner hair. Space those tracks out in the top, because at the end of the day, even if it looks like a lot of space, once that hair covers it, it's going to be fine. So make sure you're not afraid to space out at the top, just so that it can be flatter and more conducive to those who may have thinner hair. All right, babes, now it's time to cut that net off. We're just going to take and go around her whole head and just cut it off real quick. No rhyme or reason to it. Doesn't have to be, you know, nothing special. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and unbraid her leave out. I hope you all can see how seamless this sew-in is. Like, there's no bulk in it at all, literally, and it's just seamless. It's all seamless. It's exactly what she needed. And as you all can see, all those edges in the front are still out for her. You'll be able to see on the other side soon as well, but it was definitely, like, this is probably one of my favorite installs. I love BH Hair Boutique, and this fine young woman of mine, this client, she just was beautiful. Her spirit was beautiful. Her hair was beautiful. So I definitely appreciated this. And you all, I do like to use the mousse on top of the hair to make sure that we're blending it seamlessly with the sew-in without using too much wax. So the last thing to do is style this hair. Quite simply, I just blow dry the hair out with some blow dry spray from Kenra. Use some Sebastian's for some holding spray, and then I went in with my T3 curling iron, and I did little wave curls so that she can have some bounciness to her hair. I wanted it to really give like grown and sexy, but still young and cute. I think we accomplished just that. So y'all, thank you for watching. Make sure you all, before you leave my page, subscribe to this channel, like, comment, ask me for more. I'm really excited for what this year has in store for YouTube, and I'm just ready to go all in. So whatever y'all need, please don't be afraid to comment below. And again, thank you for watching. BH, if you see this, y'all know what to do. Send me some of that hair.